Welcome back. We have Denise Jaffe here on behalf of Infusion for Health. Well, welcome, Denise. Nice to have you in the studio.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Now, we learned about Infusion for Health a couple of months ago, and really interesting concept, totally different than anything else that we've certainly heard about. So just before we get into some of these things, tell me a little bit about Infusion for Health.
So Infusion for Health, we're an outpatient infusion center, and we specifically focus on patient safety and also the patient's experience. So that includes making the patient feel as comfortable as possible during their infusion. We offer private rooms, high amenity services, warm blankets, make them feel as comfortable as possible during their infusion therapy so that they can have the best experience possible.
Who is a candidate for something like this that would, not somebody who's really going in and out, but is it someone who needs this for a long period of time?
Yeah, some of our therapies are for long periods of time, sometimes years. Some therapies are short-term, a couple weeks or maybe 1 or 2 treatments.
Okay.
Some of the treatments can be, an IV infusion, or they can be as quick as an injection, like a sub-Q injection.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So for instance, when someone comes in, you would have a private room for them, and how does it differ than going to a hospital? It sounds a little more comfortable, what you're doing.
Yes, it's completely different from the hospital. So there's no admission process like a hospital would be. So we have the same staff. They're small infusion centers and all private rooms, and the check-in process is seamless.
Okay.
And you do have that one-on-one nursing care.
Okay.
So the nurses really do provide that one-on-one teaching, that education, which is so important, able to explain the infusion process and make the patient feel as comfortable as possible.
Okay. Now, you are a nurse practitioner and also the VP of Clinical Operations for Infusion for Health.
Yes.
Just give me a little brief background on yourself.
So I've been with Infusion for Health since the beginning, back in 2015.
Okay.
So I have grown with the company, and it's just an amazing growth that we've had. And it's just a pleasure to be part of the experience. I love my job. I love seeing patients improve. So the type of therapy that we provide is for chronic illnesses. And these type of therapies are sometimes patients come in every month for life, and they become part of our family.
Yeah.
So, seeing that patient come in and asking them how their grandkids are doing and how their trip was, and having that one-on-one connection is really important to us and to all of our staff.
It's a great concept, and I had mentioned to you off camera that it just seems so nice to be able to do something like this. And I think when we were talking to Dan originally, we're like, why was there a need? What are you noticing different than possibly going to the hospital to have these treatments? Obviously you mentioned getting to know the person. It's not just, you're not in and out type of a thing.
Yeah, so hospitals infusions tend to be in a big room where it's more of a sterile environment. We offer, we have very stringent cleaning techniques and processes for COVID. Everyone wears masks, and once we get into the room, the door is closed, and so having that one-on-one care is really important. And it's their therapy isn't as long as well as in the hospital. So because we do have a pharmacy technician mixing the medication, so there's no pharmacy mixing it, so we do the mixing on site, so it's the process is a little bit quicker.
Oh, that's good to know. That's
Yeah.
great. Now, you guys you just opened a new facility in La Quinta, and you're planning to open more. You guys are expanding fast.
Yes, La Quinta is our 9th center, so we have 2 more opening up. We have Temecula opening up next month, and then also San Diego.
Wow,
end of the
that's
year.
great. That's
Yes.
good. Well, obviously things are working to your advantage, and you're helping people, which is
Yes.
great. And we understood why, because Dan had, I guess it was his grandmother or his
Yes.
mother?
His mother.
His mother, right.
Yes.
So we're actually seeing her on screen. All right, let's talk about some of the infusion therapies that you do treat. Also, there's the latest, which is, Alzheimer's, and I know that you do therapy for that too. So tell me a little bit about some of those treatments.
So we treat multiple chronic conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, Alzheimer's, dementia, a lot of autoimmune disorders, and also immune compromised patients. So patients who have, you know, chronic illnesses. They can't be exposed to a lot of people. So when you said hospital, that's something that patients do want to stay away from because that's where sick people go.
Yes.
So we see the chronic sick. So we really do have a cleaner environment than to be exposed to other people. So we also take care of asthma patients, gout patients, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, the list goes on and on. So multiple skin conditions as well.
Wow, so you guys cover the gamut.
We
How
do.
does insurance work with you?
So insurance, we are covered. So we're a third of the cost of hospitals. So that is key, and the cost to patients is much less. So you are getting a high quality service at a low cost. So, and patients have a choice. Honestly, they can choose where they go, and we want to provide, you know, the safest environment for them at the lowest cost possible. So.
All right. Well, if everybody is as pleasant as you, I bet the treatment is very, you know, kind, and like you said, you really want it to feel like family and people to feel welcome. So that's awesome, especially if they have to do this for quite some time. So that's great. If there was one last thing that you would like to let our viewers know, what would that be?
I would like to say, I just would like to give an experience because I feel like that's invaluable, and patients, you know, people can relate to that. So this, about probably a year ago, was treating a patient for rheumatoid arthritis. And he was very skeptical about coming in and getting an infusion, very, very discouraged, and did a lot of one-on-one teaching with him. And after explaining the whole process and seeing him come in week to week, because there's a little bit of a ramp-up period with the medication, having him come in and asking him how each of the therapy is, to say, you know, I'm actually doing better. I can button my clothes, I can tie my belt, I can tie my shoes, and now I'm starting to walk again and ride my bike. And he was very, very pleased and said, I'm really looking forward to coming back to continue with my infusion therapy. So that to me that's what we want. That reward is really special. And so that's why I love what I do, and I know everyone there feels the same way. So
perfect. Well, I appreciate you spending the time with us and give us all the information.
Yes, well, thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. If you would like more information about what we've just discussed, you can go to infusionforhealth.com. And if you need shuttle service, please call 949-569-9087. We'll be right back.